What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be a quick video, basically a little bit of advice from a two-time RV buyer. You know, I understand that's not a lot of times, but 2 times is enough to collect enough data to come to a general consensus on how these dealerships act and things that you should look out for whenever you're going to buy a new camper, especially if you're going to get a nicer one, because nicer they are, the more expensive they are, and you know, it's a lot of money. Anyways, so my first piece of advice is going to be hire an inspector. If you have the time, hire an inspector to come and do an inspection of the RV, because they'll spend like a couple hours in the RV trying to find anything and everything that's wrong with it, much like a home inspector. In our circumstance, we couldn't hire an inspector because we were literally moving our stuff from one camper to another, and they had only given us 4 hours to do it. We had to go through so many hoops through this RV dealership. I'm not gonna name them, but it rhymes with Cocky Mountain RV and Marine in Albuquerque. So what next? Like for instance, this Arcadia that I just posted a video about, from the manufacturer, there was a lot of stuff wrong, and I don't mind so much because I can fix most things myself, but you know, more so for the people that aren't willing to fix their own things, or they just don't know how to fix their own things, or whatever the case might be. So I'll name off a few of them. So let's start with, so this camper has our solar prep, and there's 2 roof glands with MC4 connectors where you can, the wiring is already ran through the roof of the camper and down into where the battery box is over here. But one thing that's wrong is they have the solar prep where the wire goes direct from a solar panel straight down, and it's already connected to the battery, and you don't want to do that. You don't connect solar panels straight to batteries, because the open circuit voltage of a solar panel is usually about 21 volts or something like that, and that's way too high for, you know, a lead acid battery that's 14.6 I believe is the fully charged. But so there was that, and then also their air compressor, the people that were constructing the camper, their air compressor, they had their air pressure too high. So whenever their staple gun would put staples into pieces of paneling, the nail would go all the way through the paneling. So we have some bows and some paneling that I'm gonna have to re-staple myself. That's another thing. Under one of the drawers in the bedroom, under the bed, they attached the railing for the drawer. They stacked like 5 pieces of paneling that they had broke by hand to fill that gap, and then put a screw through it. I mean, that's pretty chintzy if you ask me. Another thing that was wrong, and this isn't that big of a deal, it's more of a pain in the ass than anything, is the hot water heater. The electric hot water heater is a 120 plug, and it's usually hidden somewhere behind some paneling or something, and you usually have to figure out where that is. Well, ours was not plugged in, so I had to mouse hunt that and figure that where that was and plug that in. The next thing that was wrong is the air conditioner. The rear air conditioner, the thermostat wiring was completely wrong. If you put it on low fan, it would blow high. If you put it on high, it would blow low, and it wouldn't blow cool air at all. So I had to pull the thermostat off the wall for the front air conditioner and try to copycat that wiring for the rear air conditioner. It probably took me a couple of hours before I finally figured out what was wrong and got it all fixed. You know, I mean, I had to start with checking the capacitor on the AC unit and stuff like that, and I'll make a video about that sometime later so that other people can help, so it will help other people diagnose their AC problems. But let me see. So another thing that was wrong is, well, we got down the road a little bit, and then all of a sudden we started getting a warning on the dash of our truck that the trailer was disconnected. And you know, one of those problems could be that you don't have a good ground wire on the truck side, but our other camper didn't have this problem at all, so I'm automatically going to assume that it was the camper, and I had to go in and add some extra ground wires to the negative leads on the inside of the bay of the camper and right here on the back side of the pin box, because it's new and it's all painted, powder coated and stuff like that, so it's not really getting a good surface to surface contact for that ground wire. What next? Also, another thing that I noticed inside the breaker panel here, the two different models that the dealership that we dealt with had. I went in the other one, and all of the breakers were labeled in the other one, whereas this one is missing labels on 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the ACs also weren't labeled as front and rear. So I'm gonna have to eventually fix all that too. All right, so another thing that was wrong is the electric fireplace here. I don't know why or what was wrong with it, but I had to take it out of the wall and unplug it from its 120 receptacle and plug it back in for it to start working again. Another thing that we found wrong is with these Roman shades. There's a couple of sets of them that I don't know why, because they're brand new, but so there's a string on the right side, the middle, and the left side, and it's behind the curtain, so you can't see the string. It's stringless, right? But as you see, I'm gonna lift it and watch. See, it doesn't hold itself up, but this one that works, see, that was another thing that was wrong. And so another thing that I found wrong, whenever they were building, they just really didn't have any disregard for their garbage or picking up after themselves. I had to take this vent off, and there was a couple of aluminum discs that were cut out, I'm guessing somewhere for the ducting in here, but there was all kinds of sawdust and pieces of aluminum down in there that I had to take that out and get it out of there as well. One last thing that I found that was wrong is all of these, they were labeled wrong. I had to contact Keystone and have them send me a PDF picture of what they're actually supposed to do. I'm gonna print that out and laminate it and stick it probably on this door or on this inside wall eventually, or maybe even get a label maker and relabel these things, but this was wrong. So here is the second piece of advice aside from hiring an inspector. If you're doing a lot of communicating from a distance, I would highly suggest that you either do it through email, or if you do it over the phone, and this is gonna sound, you're gonna be like, why would I do this? Record your conversations. The last dealership we dealt with and the one previous to that, both of them literally said anything and everything that they could under the sun to get us in front of them. And basically once I got there and started regurgitating some of the information that they had given me, they called me a liar. And that's one thing that, you know, most people that aren't liars really pisses you off, because there's nothing worse than being called a liar when you're not a liar, you know, and that had me hot. So that's the second piece of advice aside from hiring an inspector. All right, that's just about it. If I end up later down the road thinking of something else, I can't right now off the top of my head, but if I do, I'll put it in the comments below for you guys, and you know, I'll update the title of this video from time to time if there's something new that I add to it. Anyways, as always, guys, thanks for watching, and if we don't see you on the road, we'll see you in the next video. Peace.